Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our review of round number 35 of Championship games. We got some midweek catchy-uppy stuff, then the weekend, and then we are 10 games to go, which is the point where people like to call it the home straight or the business end, or insert whichever football cliche you would like in there. But we try and avoid football cliches here on the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Well, at least I try and avoid using more than 3 per minute. Anyway, things like Clive Allen, 10 per sentence or something like that. Let me know if you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. We are going to go through each and every one of the 12 Championship games that occurred this weekend. There they are. That's the running order down there for those who inevitably turn up late and want to know, because people like it when I do this voice, has he talked about Preston yet? There you go. There is the running order. Before we get into the action, we're going to talk about each of the 12 games. Actually, 11 wasn't there with postponement. Each of the 11 games. And we'd love to get your comments on each and every one of them. Try and get your comments focused in on whichever game we're talking about at the time, and then there is far more chance that I will indeed read them out. For those people that do get upset, literally random. If I read out every comment, we'd be here like 9 hours or something. So don't get upset. Keep your comments coming, because people do respond to them, even if I don't in the stream. Let's say a big thank you to Russ. A fan and now friend, despite Ben's terrible tastes in football teams. Russell Peak, rustling in the bushes like a rustling. Russell Brand. I get told I look like Russell Brand. It's very, very tedious, actually. So, but thanks to Russ. Anyway, and you could support the show like Russ has on Patreon. I pressed the wrong button there. www.patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. And via Super Chat, first Super Chat in every stream, becomes the king of the bin. And for the princely sum of absolutely nothing, hit the thumbs up button, Facebook, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell for notifications. And Anthony, I think, has broken the record for the quickest Super Chat, because that was actually there before we started. So Anthony is the king of the bin. Let's say hello to lots of people here. Carl, Alex, Gabrielle. Congrats on 14,500 subs. Thank you. Very, very kind. James, Mr. E, Liam, Owen, Alan, Eli, Flint, Fireforge. That's nice. How are we doing? That's tremendous, Russ. By the way, I've never, ever referred to myself as an expert. I've never played a professional football match, managed a professional football team. I'm just a fan with an opinion, just like all you lot, which is why I read your opinions out. A private joke. Gazza, well done. Julian, Steve, Dan, QPR forever. Oh, don't talk to me about eyes. You're tempting fate there. Right, let's get into this. It's coming up with round 25, because one of the round 25 games is the midweek catch-up game for Swansea. But we will get into all of that good stuff. Here are your results. Friday night, Huddersfield 0, Cardiff 0. Saturday lunchtime, Watford 1, Forest 0. And then 3 p.m, Barnsley 1, Birmingham 0. Postponed, Brentford and Rotherham. Pile up for them, particularly for Rotherham, a couple of games back now. Bristol City 0, QPR 2. Coventry 1, Derby 0. Millwall 0, Blackburn 2. Norwich 3, Luton 0. Preston 1, Bournemouth 1. Reading 3, Wednesday 0. Stoke 2, Wickham 0. Swansea 2, Borough 1. And you can see they're just chucked in. It's going to be on the 27th of April. Brentford playing Rotherham, one of the postponed games. Let's start at the top. And that means Norwich. Do we have to really talk about Norwich? They're almost promoted already, aren't they? Norwich win their 7th consecutive game. Congratulations to them. Can they equal their run of 8 straight wins, which they did promoted in 18-19? Cardiff also did 8 straight wins in 17-18. I think Leeds did 7 last season, didn't they? Villa in 18-19 did 10. But all hail Charlton in, what was the season? It's the season Ipswich went up, actually. 1999-2000. Charlton won 12 in a row. So, yeah, some records may be broken between now and the end of the season. The way that Norwich are going, they look very, very dominant. They have the air, not of themselves in 18-19, where they were thrilling and exciting. They have the air of sort of Newcastle, where they just look too big for it now, don't they? They're just better than everybody, got a better squad, got better players, winning every week. So, yeah, they're absolutely dominant and too good for Luton here by half. 3-0. It's Tim Krul in goal for Norwich. Janulis, Gibson, Hanley, and Max Irons. McLean, Skip, Cantwell, Rupp, Buendia, and Pookie. 2 more goals for Pookie in this one. 9 goals in 7 games for him. He is chasing Ivan Toney down now, isn't he? As Norwich chased down 100 points, for goodness sakes. Sluger in goal for Luton. Craney, Pearson, Naismith, Potts, Ince, Tunnicliffe, Dewsbury Hall, Moncur, Berry, and Collins. Here are the goals. Nice finish, this one by Pookie. Really looks like himself now, doesn't he? Slipped across, and he's going to fire that one into the top corner under pressure. Lovely stuff from Teemu Pukki, who, as I tweeted, and listen carefully to the stat because I do give context. Pukki is the 3rd player in the last 5 seasons to score 20 goals twice in the Championship. League goals, we're talking Tammy Abraham for Bristol City and Villa. We're talking Dwight Gale for Newcastle and West Brom. Obviously, Pukki's the only player to do it for the same club. Here is Pukki. We're in I could have scored that one territory. Buendia. Look, 2 guys have both on their hands and knees there. Charged down his shot. It deflects over to Pukki, who sticks it in for 2-0 before half-time. Pukki nearly completes the hat-trick with a quite fun sort of back heel flick before half-time, but goes over the top. There's Cantwell. Lovely goal. Look, he's on the run. Everyone's set themselves. He squeezes it low into the corner. Maybe Sluga surprised or couldn't see, and Norwich get the win. 3-0. Do you remember earlier in the season where Norwich hadn't quite clicked yet, and we were like, it's viable, they're not knocking anybody over. Well, they are every week now. 7 straight wins, 4 big chances to 1. We could go on, but it would get boring, wouldn't it? And there they are. Look at that. Impressive. 76. And I did the projection. I think it's 99.89 points Norwich are set for. And I think they play Sheffield Wednesday next. So that projection will go over 100 points with 10 games to go. Good luck to them. Can they follow in the footsteps of Leicester and Newcastle and whoever else, Reading, Sunderland as well. Some great 100-point seasons in the past. Luton, come on, let's tip the cap, because almost equally impressive as Norwich having 76 at this point is Luton having 44 a game ago. It's not equal. You know what I'm saying. It's worth tipping the cap to Luton. 44 from 34. They are 12 off relegation and looking good. Let's have a look at your comments on this one. Norwich cut above the rest. Yeah, they're just purring now. A decisive run, I think we call it. Simon's great win for Norwich considering injury to judgment. That's tremendous. Oh dear. What's that? 17 first players injured now, isn't it? I think if things continue, we might break the unbeaten home record that was set in the 80s. What's that, Dan? What, unbeaten for a season or for an amount of games? Plus Pukki not far off getting into the 10 all-time top goal scorers for Norwich. He's been a great player, hasn't he? Aaron's second best fullback in the league behind Styles, says Gabriel. Let's not get into that. There we go. Really professional performance from start to finish. A few of us expected this to be a banana skin. No, it's only you paranoid, silly Norwich fans, James, that believe in bogey teams. Hey, Aaron's. I'm just going to say it in slow motion. If Luton don't score first away, they ain't going to win. And almost it. Luton's brilliant away goal scoring to points record. Sensational. I'm not answering that, Alex. I'll put it up on the screen and you can answer that in the chat. Right. I think we're done with Norwich. They're really good, aren't they? And they're about to get promoted. And our friend Russell tells us that they may be getting Ollie Skip on loan next season, which I would wholeheartedly endorse. And Alan, those discussions will take place as and when Norwich are promoted. But yes, of course, a perfectly relevant question from Alan, because we'll start to look forward for Norwich, won't we, in terms of what are they going to do in the Premier League now? Because I'm not sure their fans will tolerate bottom place and not a lot of money spent in Stuart Webber's last year at the club. Right, Watford are second. Talk to me about Watford. They won 1-0 against Forest. Watford have a hilariously good home record. They've got 41 points. And I did the numbers. If Watford win 4 more games, they're into, I know there's only 5 games to go, they're into record-breaking territory if they can. I think that will take, they got 14 wins at home. That would take them over to 18 in 23 or something. I think they got 14 from 18. Anyway, Watford are really, really good at home, and they win at home again against Forest in the early kickoff on Saturday. Messina with the goal. Here are your teams: Backman, Firmina, Ekong, Sierralta, Messina, Hughes. Pretty good effort from Xisco, this one. He's got no central midfielders, so he plays Zinkernagel and João Pedro, Sarr and Sember wide and Gray, and he pretty much changes his central midfield every 20 or 30 minutes in this game just to try and not get outnumbered by Yates and Garner and Kravinovic, etc. Samba in goal for Forest, Krissy, Figueiredo, Worrell, Bong, Garner, Yates, Knockaert, Kravinovic, Freeman and Murray up top. Here's the goal. I think it's quite good, actually, from Messina. He knows he's got time, so all he's going to concentrate on after Sarr cuts it back, he goes cold, he knocks it out of his feet, and he's just going to try and hit it as hard as he can, as early as he can. And you can always get through the legs. And I think it goes through 2 players' legs, doesn't it? Is that Garner charging him down? It's going to go through Samba's legs as well. In the goal, and Watford are going to get the win. We watched the second half on the Super Stream, and I thought Watford were pretty good value for it. Taylor had the ball in the net, but he was offside, wasn't he? And Chris Hughton, I do have issues sometimes with the balance of the team. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more on the defensive side, and it looked that way in the second half. So Watford, given that they're utterly brilliant at home and that Brentford didn't play, are in second spot with Swansea, who we'll talk about next. Much to talk about in the Swansea game. But yeah, Watford are in second spot now under Xisco. Obviously, caveat ahoy, game in hand for Swansea. I think it's Blackburn on Tuesday, and I think they're at home. I'll double check that in a sec. So Watford may not be second by the time we all go to bed tomorrow night. We'll find out. Look at the goal difference as well. It's really tight. 46-24 Watford, 43-24 Swansea. This is getting exciting now, isn't it? You've got to love it. And Brentford, well, I don't know. Maybe a weekend off might do them good. I don't know. The proof is in the pudding. Brentford in 4th, obviously. For Forest, bit of a slip. They're on 40 points. They've got a tricky run coming up as well. So, I mean, let's be honest. 45 to survive over the last 10 years. 11 games to go, 40 points. Should be absolutely fine unless that run goes from 2 wins to 2 defeats, to 4 defeats to 5 defeats, and they have a little slip. Let's see what you're saying about Watford and Forest. Anthony, essentially, there's no point talking about Norwich. Just say they're up and continue the show. I can't. We've got lots of Norwich friends, haven't we, Anthony? But yeah, they're up. I know. Watford, Forest. Forest, not one shot on target. Typical Hughton. Tough run of matches coming up. Totally agree with you, Chris. Gabriel. Aaron's. I think Forest will see this season as a rebuild. Next season, with Chris Hughton's guidance, they could challenge it. I think they will. Yeah, I'm sure they will with Hughton there. Losing 1-0 at Vicarage Road should be considered a decent result. That stadium must be intimidating. Yeah, and they played all the hard games there. And I think Swansea still go there, don't they? But yeah, we're looking at those last 3 games now for Watford, aren't we? Or the last 4 games, I think. Let me do this. Norwich, at Norwich, Millwall, Swansea, and then Brentford, or the other way around. I can't remember. It's those 4 teams in the last 4 games. Going to be, can't wait for the end of the season. Going to be brilliant. Owen, who's a Forest fan, 0 shots on target, matches the we'll talk about let's talk about Forest rather than Derby. Watford look like playoff final winners, says Locke. Yes, can they play it at Vicarage Road? If they do, then they'll definitely win it, won't they? Blackburn at home, Blackburn away. I'm getting told 2 different things. What else are we doing here? Is everyone still crying after Saturday? We're getting onto it in a minute, William. We're supposed to say just concentrate on what we control, but all eyes on Blackburn. Yes, indeed, Mark. Yes, indeed. Watford are an odd team. Every time I see them play, I think they look rubbish, and mid-table keep winning. They've got some damn good players, though, haven't they? Watford, and lots of Premier League quality. I love how you say, I can't even pronounce that, Millwall. Is that right? Like a Bermondsey native. I used to go to a recording studio in South Bermondsey, Alex. Maybe I've picked up the lingo. Right, here we go. Now, everybody stay calm. There's no need for any outrage. We're all going to discuss this like adults. You don't need to use exaggerated language or get upset or emotional, because we're going to talk about Swansea 2, Middlesbrough 1, which had Twitter and Neil Warnock alive, livid with outrage. I'm not laughing. Let's just say a couple of decisions may or may not, depending on your personal perspective, have gone in Swansea's favour in this one. And remember, hot off the back of a 97th minute winning goal from the penalty spot at Stoke, Swansea get another 97th minute winning goal. But let's all stay calm and talk about it like adults in the comments, as I can see the comments filling up already. Woodman in goal for Swans. They beat Borough 2-1, by the way. But no one cares about that. I just want to talk about the decisions. Norton, Cabango, Guay. Manning keeps his place, but Bidwell's going to be in the thick of it at the end. Roberts, Grimes, Fulton, Hurahan, Smith, Ayew. For Warnock, Bettinelli in goal. Sorry, for Borough. Warnock. Is Warnock bigger than Borough? Probably. Fry, Hull, McNair, Morsey, Jake Steele, Boller, Saville, Howson, Watmore, Balassi. Let's have a look at the action. And here is the opening goal. This is a rubbish goal to concede, isn't it? So 2 Borough players. I guess it's Boller, and I can't quite see who that is. Is it Howson? No, it's not Howson. He's 16. Anyway, 2 Borough players jump for the same ball. It falls for Ayew, and then just to rub salt into the wound, his shot takes a deflection and catches Bettinelli on the near post. Okay, we're all okay with that. 1-0. Here comes the fun. This is as best I can get this. That is Yannick Balassi sliding in on Jay Fulton, knocking the ball back to Mark Boller, who is going to smack that into the corner of the net. And as far as I could see, no whistle had gone when it went in. Now, people accuse me of sitting on the fence. I don't. If a decision to me looks very, very tough to call, I'll say it's very tough to call. This one, however, I will tie my colours to the mast and say I feel that this goal should have stood. I think Balassi slides in, gets there first. I think Fulton makes the challenge, kicks against Balassi's foot, and then goes down. And I think referee Ward is fooled into thinking that the slide of Balassi knocks Fulton down, which I don't think it did. I think the goal should stand. Other opinions are welcome and encouraged. Insults and outrage are not necessary. Okay, so that's the first one that went against Borough. Here comes the equaliser right late in the game. Morsey on the half volley. I don't know if that took a deflection because Woodman is completely wrong-footed. He kind of falls down on his back and it goes in on the near post. Now, all hell is breaking loose in the Saturday Super Stream here. I'm going all crazy like Jeff Stelling saying, Borough have equalised, Borough have equalised. And then everything starts lighting up saying Swansea have got a penalty and it looks a bit dubious. Now, let's have a look at this because what I will say, whatever you think about this decision, it is less clear than the Boller goal. Okay? I think that's fair to say, isn't it? the Bother goal, and I look at and I say, that's that level of clear. I look at this and I'm like, okay, this looks a bit confusing. And what happens is Jake Bidwell is arriving in the box with George Saville. And I don't know whether I have any sympathy with referee Ward, but it's a nightmare, this one, isn't it? Because so Saville's foot gets there first, okay? Bidwell's foot then kicks under and through Saville's foot. Maybe that's all I need to say. And I think they either both touch the ball or Bidwell kicks Saville's foot against the ball. Referee Ward gives a corner, and we need to be clear about this. I know he's in charge, but he gives a corner suggesting that Saville has indeed kicked the ball. If he has, then that's very telling because it may well be a foul by Bidwell. The linesman, whose name I do not know, forgive me, gives flags, gives a penalty, puts it across his chest, and referee Ward changes his mind. So if, as I've described it, if Saville gets to the ball first and Bidwell kicks through, if that's the case, it's a foul by Bidwell on Saville and should not only not be a penalty, should not be a corner, should be a free kick to Middlesbrough. If Bidwell has got his foot underneath Saville's and got to the ball first, then I don't know. Would it even just be an obstruction? Is Saville committing a foul? Look, it's been very, very controversial. I can see the comments filling up. Let's not go down the all officials are corrupt, blah, blah, blah. All Swansea players are the devil. Let's not go down that route. Let's say it's a bit of an iffy one, and we can read your comments out in a sec. Obviously, Andre Ayew steps up and smacks it in the goal, doesn't he? 2-1 Swans. Warnock, furious, utterly furious. Tight game, one big chance apiece. I'll go to your comments in a sec because I know there's going to be loads. There we are. Swans, 65 points and can go in second with a game in hand. In a parallel universe, if they hadn't got either of those penalties, ifs, buts and maybes, and yes, maybe we should give some credit to Swansea for having defenders up in the box in the 94th, 5th minute of games, however the penalties came. Okay, calm. Swansea can go second, winning that first game in hand. They no longer have 2 games in hand on Brentford, though, who didn't play at the weekend. Borough are 50 points. Barnsley have got 57 and a game in hand. A Barnsley win in their game in hand over Derby would put Borough 10 points off 6th place. Right, here we go. I don't know why I'm crossing myself. I'm not a religious man, but I'm going to read the comments now. Let's have a look. If there's any outraged, ridiculous comments, I just won't read them. Okay. What are we saying here? Okay. I'll try and give balance if people have different views. Okay. Tyler, Swansea gained 4 points for horrific ref decision. The effects of the table is abysmal from the refs. Stupid idiot referee. Only one word I can describe to use this one. Yikes. Ooh. Cheats. I'm not going with that. Hopefully Warnock isn't in the stream. God, imagine he was. I would love to interview Neil Warnock. What a guy. I switched the game off when Borough equalised. Luck or just not giving up. Bid week ahead. All of this talk of officials favouring us is nonsense. And let's be honest, Steve, you probably all know Steve in the chat, is a very reasonable, self-aware Swansea fan. So that's a fair comment, Anna. If you're not an adult by age, then you can behave not like an adult. Fine. But we all like to think that you are knowledgeable beyond your ears, Anna. Borough's goal should have stood. I think it's a Swansea fan. Can't lie, Borough's goal should have counted, but our penalty was a clear penalty, says William. I'm just going to read out all different sides of this. Absolutely worth it I must admit, Warnock was box office, although you can imagine him being furious about it. EPL fans need to watch some EFL games. I totally agree, Julian. And to think there are people in the Premier League that say, we don't want VAR. We don't want the correct decisions when they're only a millimetre off. Okay, sometimes they don't appear to make the correct decisions, but surely it would have been desirable for referee Ward to have a look on the screen or to have some help with both of those decisions. Because I think he definitely would have given the goal, wouldn't he? Or possibly a penalty to Balassi. So Anthony, he had Swansea in his accumulator. There we go. Swansea get what they should if they don't go up. A disgrace, both penalties in both games late on. Again, these are the opinions of the comments, obviously. That's Oliver. Swansea, the 4 points Swansea been gifted by refs could make a difference. Could do. A great toe poke by Balassi, wanted it more. Saville gets his foot kicked and the ref gives a pen. That would appear to be the case from what I've seen. Warnock had right to be angry. I think he's aged 7 rather than 70. Oh, yeah, exactly. Anything else? It was a bad decision that changed the game. Still, the penalty at the end. Saville should not be diving in like that around the ever. He gave it. Well, that's very reasonable of you, David. That's a pen, but the Boller goal should have scored. We're all over the place with this, aren't we? What else have we got? Neil, got a feel for Borough, love or hate him. Warnock, Swansea had a couple of really late pens. Luck or clever play. Sometimes it can be a bit of both. We have seen clever play get penalties from many teams this season, haven't we? When Wrexham perform badly in the Premier League, they end up in the Championship. I think referee award should be on Hackney Marshes. There we go. I'm going to stop there. Thank you, everybody, for not going down the fraud, corrupt narrative. It is what it is, and we'll see how it affects people at the end of the season. But yeah, come on. Surely VAR would have helped with that one. But let's just get off the corrupt, fraud, cheat narrative or whatever. If it's bad refereeing, it's bad refereeing. But yes. Right, shall we move on? Anyway, I think we've tried and done that fairly even-handedly, haven't we? I've put comments from both sides up. I've given my view and then said both sides. I'm sure I'll get accused of all and sundry anyway. Let's move on. We can't talk about Brentford because they didn't play, so we'll talk about Reading, who won 3-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. And we can also talk about Sheffield Wednesday, who are looking pretty doomed at the moment, aren't they? Reading... And as I wrote, if you're a patron, you'll have probably already seen or you've had the opportunity to see my tribal football column. I think we can agree that Mayhew is class. Yes. And he's been a bit quiet recently, Mayhew, hasn't he? Anyway, I did write in my tribal football column. I made George Puskas my player I looked at this week because he's just given Reading some extra options now in terms of taking a bit of the heat off Zhao up top and an ability to play a new shape, which Reading did. Raphael in goal. Yidam, Holmes, Moore, Richards, having played every minute. Morrison is now out. Semedo, McIntyre, Laurent. So innovative there from Paunovic, sticking McIntyre in front by the look of it. Elise off Zhao and Puskas. For Wednesday, Wildsmith in goal. Ergaheed, Lees, Burner, Palmer, Harris, Windass, Hutchison, Shaw, Bannon and Patterson. And for the 7th time this season, Sheffield Wednesday have a player red carded. It's Julian Burner, and they always seem to get one earlier in the game. Puskas running into the box. We know the laws now. Hands on in the box, down goes Puskas. We now know if that's outside the box, that's a yellow card. But if it's inside the box, let me rephrase that. Hands on inside the box. So the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, if it's not a deliberate attempt to play the ball, sorry, I got that completely wrong, then it's a red card inside the box. A deliberate attempt to play the ball is a yellow card inside the box, a red card outside. So I've probably made that even more confusing than it already was. And I think the referee rightly judges that if you've got your hands on the forward inside the box, it's not a deliberate attempt to play the ball. You can't play the ball with your hands. You're going to get red card. It's silly. From Borna, Puskas is the guy that wins the pen, and Elise sticks it home. Lucas Zhao off penalties now after missing a couple. Here is the second from Lucas Zhao. Yidam looked like he played well in this game. He sets that goal up and he gets the assist for this one. I'm sure you've all seen the hilarious clip of the Sheffield Wednesday free kick that went into Callum Patterson's nether regions as well. It never rains, but it pours. These are the days it never rains, but it pours. What song is that? Dido, Under Pressure. And Under Pressure is what Sheffield Wednesday... Oh, what a great segue. That was 28 points for Wednesday from 34 games, 45 to survive over the last 10 seasons. They ain't getting close to that at the moment. Annoyingly for Wednesday, they would be at a point per game now. They're exactly 6 points off a point per game with the 6 point deduction. It looks like they are going down as things stand. They need another mad run, like they had 4 home wins in a row or something, didn't they, at one point Wednesday, fairly recently actually, but not looking good at the moment. 7 points off Birmingham. They do have a game in hand, but as I always say, we can most generously add on a point for that, can't we, based on the previous season. We need a huge uptrend from Wednesday and a collapse from preferably Birmingham for their point of view, or Coventry or Derby, who are 10 points ahead. Reading, brilliant. 3 wins on the trot. They're under pressure from Barnsley and Cardiff, who've been on a run. Bournemouth have got 7 in 3, but Reading stabilising nicely. 60 points from 35 games. Very decent. So 11 to go for Reading, and 15 points from 11 for 75 is less than 1.5 per game. Looking good for the playoffs if there's no collapse. And obviously, we can never write off a collapse. Remember Middlesbrough under Pulis, like lost 6 in a row at this point of the season, maybe even later as well. And out they go. So we have seen it before, but well done to Reading and Paunovic finding different ways as well. What are we doing here? Let's have a look at some comments. Wednesday are down for me. Very difficult. I haven't checked the fixtures, Eli, so you may be right about that. Wednesday are screwed. Darren Moore needs time to get rid of the useless players. Well, let's see. Darren Moore went to a team that is destined to be in League One. Is that why he's been appointed? Quite possibly, yeah. Doncaster have won 2 on the trot since he's gone as well. Yeah, Reading finally getting their penalty. There was about 4, wasn't there? And that was referee Langford, wasn't it? Wednesday are down. Will be nice to start winning games next year. That's what I thought as an Ipswich fan, and then they stopped winning them. Wednesday love a red card. Yeah, not good. McIntyre fielding well with Ejaria now. How long's Ejaria out for, Mr. E? 2 up front has worked well. Not sure whether Pauno will do it away from home. Fair comment. I think Darren Moore is trying to achieve what he couldn't with West Brom, but that West Brom team was still doing better than Wednesday are now, of course. Get better soon, Pauno. Yeah, I just retweeted that ridiculous way he's got injured. Ben, the Segway maestro. Who was it who fell over on a Segway? It was George Bush II, wasn't it? The impossible to fall off Segway, and he got on and didn't turn it off and fell off. There we go. Strange decision taking. Bannon off. He's the influence. Yeah, exactly. He's more stamping his authority. I suppose he'll blame the red card, won't he? During his injury crisis, Pusk's absence wasn't mentioned. No, I wasn't mentioning it. I was always looking at Richards, Zhao and Moore, and Swift as well. But yeah, maybe I should have been mentioning it a little bit more. Been asking for mums for 2 up top. Been working really well. Yardim's goal was great. Did very well to create space. Yeah, he played well, didn't he? Wednesday, lack of individual responsibility stems from wretched owner. Constantly change managers, almost as many gaffers as red cards. Right. Thought Reading would tail off. Me too. Fair play. No, me too. I said it on here. Will they trend downwards? At least I asked the question. But there we go. Darren Moore out. Yes, I've tweeted the Paunovic bicycle kick. Anything else? Not a great year for the Steel City. Let's move on. And we can talk about Barnsley, which is great fun at the moment. We've had a few slightly childish Norwich fans, a little bit annoyed that someone else has come to the birthday party in as pretty a dress as they are wearing. But Barnsley, 7 wins on the trot. With, let's just say, not anywhere near as good a squad as Norwich have got. And just an outstanding run from Barnsley. So obviously, huge credit to both for 7 wins. So I'm covering all bases. But even the most one-eyed of Norwich fans could understand the credit that everybody is giving Barnsley for this brilliant run that they're currently on. And they are in the playoffs. Barnsley, 6th position. Outstanding work from Valerian Ismail. And speaking of Norwich, since Ismail took over, only Norwich have scored more points than Barnsley. And that will stay the same until Swansea possibly play their game in hand. Swansea and Barnsley have scored the same amount of points in that time. So we'll see how that pans out. But still, it's Barnsley. They're in League One, for goodness sake. Swansea and Norwich have both been in the Premier League recently. So brilliant stuff from Ishmael and Barnsley. There are the teams. Collins, Solbauer, Hellick, Anderson, Styles, Britton, Moet, Palmer, Woodrow, Freeser, DK. Birmingham, who I haven't even mentioned, were the defeated team here. The latest team, the 7th in a row to lose to Barnsley. Etheridge, Dean, Roberts, Friend, Valerie, Pedersen, Gardner, Harper, Sunjic, Hogan and Jukovic. So 2 up top as well for Blues in this one. And this is a brilliant goal. I love this goal because it's quite ridiculous as well. DK goes to the right-hand side of the box and look behind him. Look at Callum Britton, right? If I'm Callum Britton, I'm saying to DK, what are you doing? Don't shoot from there. Hold it up. I'm going to run either inside or outside and overlap you. DK larrups that one into the near post on the top corner. No fault of the keeper here. It's hit so well. Even curves away a little bit into the top corner. It's a ridiculous, absurd, joyous goal. And ridiculous, absurd and joyous describe Barnsley's run at the moment. Tremendous work from Barnsley. Is it a viable win? No big chances. But look, Birmingham didn't have a shot on target during the game. Barnsley, just sensational. Look at that. From last day relegation escape last season, bottom of the league, 1 win in 18 games at the start of last season. Second bottom this season, no wins in the first 6. And they're now in the top 6. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let me tell you this as well. Barnsley have a game in hand over Derby in the midweek. Let's say, for example, they win that game. They'll be on 60 points. They then play Bournemouth at the weekend. Let's say, for example, they win that game, and let's give Cardiff a win as well. That would put Barnsley on 63 points with the nearest challenger on 57. That would be 6 points clear with 10 games to go. If they can, I know it's easier said than done. Oh, just take your winning streak to 9 games rather than 7 games. But it very, very much looks like it's in their hand. If they can keep up their explosive pace, can they? Who the hell knows? Let's give them a round of applause, though, for what they have done so far. Let's have a look at your comments. Either Cooper or Barnsley's manager should get manager of the year. If Farker gets 100 points, he'll be in with a shout as well. But yeah, they've both been brilliant, haven't they? Barnsley have got a better run in than Bournemouth. Yes. So Barnsley, Daniel, only have 2 top 6 teams, and one of them is Norwich on the last day of the season. Norwich are on course to be promoted with about 3 or 4 games of the season left. Unless Norwich are going for 100 points, that might even be they might be playing a team with absolutely nothing to play for on that last game of the season. Barnsley are absolutely flying. Good luck to them. Can't believe we've done 7 on the trot. Love a bit of Barnsley. I hope they go as well said, Adam. I've had a couple of slightly juvenile Norwich fans on Twitter. Well, we getting the same credit. It's like, come on now. Be sensible. Birmingham are hopeless. I can't see where this turns round. Barnsley, Brentford and Norwich to go up, says Iain. Anybody else? We have big games to play against Reading and Bournemouth. That Bournemouth game. Woof. What a game next Saturday. Bournemouth, I can't wait. I cannot. Do you know what? Is that 3 p.m. on Saturday? I might even pay the iFollow and have that as a watch along during the Super Stream. I cannot wait. DK's goal was sheer class. No right to score from that angle. Barnsley are insane if they keep getting points and wins like this. And the sides battle for the top 2. Well, I don't know about second place, but let's get them in a playoff position first. Incredible. James, I'm a Norwich fan. I think Barnsley deserve more of the spotlight than us. What they've done this season after just managing to stay up last year is tremendous. Good use of the word tremendous. One of my favourites. Hope they make the playoffs. Next 2 games are massive, aren't they? 4 points, yeah. Just look, beat Derby if they can. Obviously, no disrespect to Derby. And just don't lose to Bournemouth and all is well. It wasn't pretty. Thank you, Anthony, for the super chat earlier as well. Goal from DK was fantastic. I'm still waiting for our collapse. There you go. James is a Birmingham fan. He picks the team that loses and doesn't pick the team that does well. Yeah. Barnsley are I can't read that, dogs, and are showing the Championship that having big bucks doesn't always replace proper management and coaching. It certainly helps having the big bucks, but big bucks can always be challenged by just damn good work. M-Trade, do you half support Fulham? I can tell you do. Secretly, look, M-Trade, I've been accused of supporting... look, I support Ipswich. I've been accused of supporting Sheffield United, Millwall, Norwich, now Fulham. Probably be accused of supporting Barnsley, Leeds, Villa. I've been accused of supporting about 8 teams. I just get very enthusiastic when teams are doing well. You love to see it. And the worse your team is, the more you can vicariously live through other teams. Right, brilliant stuff. Farker didn't win Manager of the Year last time. That's ridiculous, isn't it? That was a stellar performance by Farker last time. He should have, shouldn't he, really? And that was... I'm beginning to think about this now. People often ask me how hard the Championship is. I was looking at top goal scorers recently for a tweet. 18-19, there was like 8 players over 20 goals. And as I've said many times, 4 or 5 really good teams in that league. So that league as well, 18-19, was the absolute trickiest, I think, to get out of. Excuses, you love Fulham, I can tell. Well, look, I will go and support Fulham. If someone will buy me a house in Putney by the river and pay off the mortgage, I'll support Fulham. Actually, no, I'd probably just rent it out and no, I'd live in it, wouldn't I? It would be lovely. I'm definitely a fan of Superstore. I'm nearly through it, Anir, and we finished The Crown as well. We tried to do both Coming to Americas last night as well, which was fun, although we didn't get to the end of the new Coming to America. Preston 1, Bournemouth 1. This is going to be a long stream, isn't it? I'm rambling today. Ramble on. Preston 1, Bournemouth 1. This is obviously Barnsley's brilliant win. And this result is what puts Barnsley in the top 6. Bournemouth could have stayed there with a victory. But Preston peg them back and get the points. Iverson in goal for Preston. Vandenberg, Huntington, Story and Cunningham, Whiteman, Brown, Sinclair, Johnson, Barkhazen and Evans. For Bournemouth, settled now. Begovic, Smith, Kelly, Carter Vickers, Cook. The other Cook, Pearson and Lerma across midfield. Stanislas, Solanke, Danjuma up top. Here are the goals. And if I can find them, I just want to look at Daryl DK's goal again and the ludicrous angle that he scored from. There is Arnott Danjuma from Dom Solanke, sticking that one home for 1-0. Dan Johnson, I can't think who made the mistake, but they pounced on it, and Johnson really quickly. You can see Ben Pearson behind him, who's played with him for the last few years, knows exactly what he's about to do. But can they stop it? No, they can't. Johnson curls it into the corner on the floor with the left foot. And a tight game ends in a draw. And they're at Bournemouth. Decent, 7 points from the last 3. But obviously, at the moment, you're up against a team that's won 7 on the trot. And you're being chased by a team. Cardiff had also won 6 on the trot. So Bournemouth are being tested, let's just say. 56 from 35, though, is not the ideal springboard to go from. But as I always say about Bournemouth, they've got really, really good players in that squad. And with competent management, they should get in there. However, we seem to have had better than competent management at Reading, Barnsley and Cardiff across swathes of this season. Preston, who knows? 13th now. Can they get in the top half? Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Preston are 10th at the end. I wouldn't be surprised if they were 17th. I just don't know what trajectory they are heading on. Slightly up and down our north end. Ben's definitely I've been accused of being a Brentford fan. I'm definitely a fan of all of these teams for sure, but I support that team up there. Yes, thank you, Alex. So Shaylee is back at work, but she is allowed to self-isolate. So she's in her office. She's a bit annoyed about it because she normally does 2 days assistant head and then, 3 days assistant head and then 2 days teaching, but she's not allowed to do the 2 days teaching. But I've tried to explain to her that she needs to stay safe. Keep on rambling. Mark, absolutely. I will happily have a drink with you at Vicarage Road. Love to go there. Just down the M1 for me as well. Brilliant. Brentford fan. I think people are thinking that 3 losses in a row doesn't mean you can get automatics. Every team has a bad month. Absolutely, they do. Don't understand why Bournemouth appointed Woodgate. Did they not see him manage last? Well, he's a good talker. Evidently, Bournemouth season so far must be seen as a failure. Steve, it's very, very binary in the Championship with year 1 parachute teams. Basically, if they don't go up, it's a failure, in my opinion. I feel that a year 1 parachute team with competent management should finish in the playoffs. And we said this about Scott Parker all of last season. People were like, Ben, he's not doing a good job. He's not. I'm like, look, if he gets them up, he's done a good job, and he got them up. So, yeah, it is quite binary, I think. Anything else? Seems like cherries are not in season at the moment. Nice. Any other comments on that? Swans fans accused you of hating us. They said, do you know what? Swans fans said I had an anti-Welsh bias as well. Even worse than not liking Swansea. I hated the entire country, apparently. People are very defensive about their football teams. It's almost like their self-esteem is attached to their football side. Evidently, Bournemouth goal was a result of a mistake. Preston were much better in the second half. Don't forget, Bournemouth really sussed Barnsley out last time. Can see them doing it again, but I'd love to donate my $4.99 instead. Outstanding, Anthony. Thank you for your support of the channel. Of course, moving on. Oh, let's do this briefly. This match was rubbish, wasn't it? We did this on the watch-along on Friday. Huddersfield 0, Cardiff 0. And Ipswich fans get a bad rap for getting bored after 6 years with McCarthy. McCarthy is a very good football manager. Obviously, if you take the money away from him, he has to revert to a certain type of football. And I've seen this type of football that I saw on Friday before. He's got the resources at Cardiff to do well. So good luck to Mick. But I've seen this before. The very risk-averse, slightly dull football. And this is what we got. And Huddersfield should have won because they missed a penalty. And that is the dictionary definition. A free shot from 12 yards of a big chance, isn't it? Schofield in goal for Huddersfield. Edmonds Green, Keogh, Sarr, Vallejo, Pippa and Rowe. The other side, I expected to see each of them. O'Brien, Bakuna, Sonogo, the guilty man missing from the spot. Campbell. For Cardiff, Phillips, Morrison, Flint. Nelson has played every minute this season, along with Sean Hutchinson of Millwall. For any Norwich fans about to complain, Max Aarons has played 35 sets of 90 minutes, but did go off in stoppage time against Coventry. Therefore, ergo, has not played every minute. Please don't shoot me. I'm only the messenger. Bagan and Sang are reserve wing-backs there. No Bennett or NG. I think Bennett's out for a while. Bagan gets injured as well. Rules and Volks, Wilson, Murphy and Moore. And I've got the missed penalty. I think I have. Yeah, there we go. It's a really bad penalty as well. I understand professional footballers having their penalties tipped round the post, clipping the outside of the post. I don't understand them not hitting the target. Surely, if you're even through an academy, you must have taken 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 penalties by this point. I cannot understand not being able to hit the target from a penalty. But hey, what are you going to do? Sonogo missed and Huddersfield missed a chance of a victory. There's the table. So Cardiff are still in great form under Mick. I think it's 4 draws, 6 victories in 10, which is fantastic. Really, really brilliant form. However, Barnsley are better than that at the moment, sadly for them, and have gone past Cardiff. Cardiff were in the top 6, weren't they, after they beat Bournemouth? Let's see. I'm sure Mick will keep the momentum going there. And, you know, look, you wouldn't be surprised if he ended up above all of them, wouldn't you? But we'll see in that playoff chase. Huddersfield, 38 from 35. They're still far enough ahead of points parity, as in, you know, they could lose the next 3 and they'll still be 38th from 38, which is my standard. All it would take, though, is a surge from one of those teams below them. They do still need, well, look, to get to 45. Oh, God, Sofa School, what are you doing? 2 more wins would get Huddersfield to 44, and a draw would get them to 45. They've got 11 games to go. Let's see. You never know. As I always say, there's no relegation chase without a surge from anyone in the bottom 3. That much is for sure. Max Aarons. I'm just going to deliberately pronounce Max Aarons differently every time I say it now. Petition to let Ben pronounce the players the name he wants. Yeah. Look, if people are in a pandemic, haven't been vaccinated, and the world is in meltdown and financial things are all breaking down, and they're worried about how someone pronounces a footballer's name, then what can I do, James? What can I do? Woof. Right. Any more on that one? If they turn in any more performances like that, Cardiff have no shout. I've seen those performances before. Believe me. Bias aside, my neck hurt from watching that game. McCarthy doing a good job. Unfortunately, there you go. Right, let's move on. Stoke 2, Wycombe 0. Wycombe are all but done, aren't they? Stoke, well, I mean, I suppose they're far enough off the playoffs to, again, it would need something equivalent to what Barnsley have just done, haven't it, to go on a massive run. But you never know. You never know. 2 quick-fire goals from Norrington, Davis and Souttar. In this game, there's your Stoke team. Gunn, Smith, Souttar, Chester, Norrington, Davis, Allen, Obi, Mikel. I'm going to pronounce all the names differently now just to annoy everyone. Clark, Powell, Brown, Fletcher. Stockdale in goal for Wycombe. McCarthy, Stewart, Tafazoli, Jacobson, Knight, Musquay, Wheeler, Mehmeti, McCleary, Ikpiazu. Right, sorry. We try our best. My intentions are good with every football player's name, I promise you. Don't let it ruin your enjoyment of any part of your life. Norrington Davis, good goal this. Narrow in the narrow fullback, left back position, give and go. Slams through the middle, puts it home. Lovely goal, actually. You don't see that type of goal very often where I know Pep Guardiola, being Pep Guardiola, has made narrow fullbacks a thing and coming into central midfield. You don't often see them bursting through and scoring, though. Brilliant stuff from, not in that way anyway, from Norrington Davis, and a big header by Souttar from a corner on the back post. I believe that's his first goal, and considering what Stoke are good at and the size of Souttar, I'm surprised he hasn't scored before. I may be wrong about that, but what you going to do, brother? There's the table. So let's do Wycombe first. 23 points from 34. They are 12 points off safety. They do have a game in hand, but obviously, I mean, even if we added, if we added a point on for that game, we'd be being generous given they're way off a point per game. So at the moment, Wycombe are going to be down 4 games before the end of the season as things stand, if they don't eat into that 12-point deficit that they have at the moment with or without the game in hand. Stoke, 48 with 35 played. Barnsley, 9 points ahead in 6th. And a Barnsley win would put Stoke, this is in the game in hand against Derby, a Barnsley win would put Stoke 12 points off the playoffs with 11 games to go. And it starts to look mission impossible. And you're going to hear me talk about teams being on the beach very soon as we get 10 games, 8 games to go. Let's see who gets on there. Good job. His Christian name isn't Aaron. I really like Ainsworth. Wish him all the best when Wycombe go down. Inevitably, the win was, I think Stoke will do it next year, depending on the parachute clubs coming down. You could get West Brom with Big Sam in a year 1 parachute payment if he stays. Woof. You're forgetting about Scott, but well, he never did the give and go, went straight through the middle. What's his name? Malone, but he scored some good goals. Recently, we are struggling because he's been Aaron's forever. His cousin has corrected us all. Oh, dear. Well, his cousin has just thrown in a grenade into pedantry land, hasn't he, Sophie? Deary me. Anyway, speaking of Millwall and Scott Malone, they lost 2-0 to Blackburn this week. Only a couple to go, guys. Stick with me. Appreciate all of your time and your support. There we go. Bits. $1.99 on the super chat. I drink to you, sir. Support the Bloom. Give a Pepsi for his efforts. that could be a hashtag we can do. Give a Pepsi. You give a little love and it all comes back to you. Millwall, Białkowski in goal. Evans, Hutchison, Cooper, Malone, Woods, Mitchell, Romeo, Bennett, Wallace, Bodvarsson. Blackburn, when I looked at this team, I thought, oh, God, what now? Another different lineup. It's got the win. Kaminski in goal, Rankin Costello, Lenihan, Harwood Bellis, Douglas, Buckley, Tribal, Dak, Brereton, Dolan, Gallagher, no Armstrong or Elliott in the first 11, and they get the win. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And look at Blackburn's underlying numbers. They're really high on possession and shots per game. It really are. There really is some disparity, I think, between their league performance and their points per game against the perceived quality of their squad and the amount of ball and shots that they have. Something about Blackburn doesn't make sense to me. But they got a win here. Dak sorts his feet out, edge of the box. That's going to take a deflection, isn't it? I think, is that Hutchison in position? I think he gets a little head on it, and that does for Białkowski in the goal. And Dak with the opener. This is a really weird one. So that's Dolan driving into the box. He hits the shot. Whoever that is on the ground, bear with me, they're blurred. It's not Hutchison again, is it? It deflects off them anyway. Pretty much hits Gallagher in the torso and just flies in the goal. So a couple of weird goals, but they do get the victory in this one. Do Rovers. 2 big chances to 0. Suggests some viability. 5 shots to 2 on target. So Millwall, 46 from 35. I mean, look, Millwall always punch their weight. 2 8th place finishes. How high can they get? I don't know. Does feel a little bit transitional this season. They've been neither nor, haven't they? They've never been a real playoff challenge, never a real relegation threat. Will they be the first team on the beach along with Stoke? I wonder. Blackburn, 43 now, that they're not going up. They're not going down. Again, we're starting to look at the beach. All of these teams who are in that sort of trajectory of middlingness will hope for a good run between now and the end of the season to give some meaning to pre-season, etc., etc. Was a poor performance from us. Easy for you to say, Gaza. Blackburn opened as us far too easy. Hashtag give a Pepsi. Absolutely. He's still secretly a Millwall fan and a Fulham fan apparently today. This was the most Millwall result possible. Blackburn better than us everywhere. Dolan ruined us. He's an interesting player, Dolan, isn't he? You sometimes see him come on. Looks absolutely explosive. But then so did Fred Onyedinma at times for Millwall, didn't he? Constantly losing to bad out of form teams every year is becoming extremely tiresome. Armstrong was injured, to be fair, expected to be out for a week or 2. Well, let's see how they go without Armstrong. Sometimes you get these weird quirks where, like, Mitrovic comes out of Fulham and they improve. We'll see. He needed that with Mowbray. I still think he's on borrowed time. Living on borrowed time. Dolan as a 9 was impressive. On Mason Bennett, it's true. He's only played 1 full first-team game in his career. He's made his debut about 8 years ago or something ridiculous, didn't he? Derby v Forest in the League Cup lasted into injury time for Millwall and Burton 1 time each. Unbelievable. Lucky goals, no doubt, but definitely deserved the win. A much improved performance with fight, energy, and passion. Chris, we started well for 15 until they scored. We were awful. Sorry, they scored then. We were awful. Unchanged team looked knackered. Dolan in Armstrong well was electric. Terrible mistake for second by Cooper. It was him. Thank you, Chris. Him on the ground. Everyone looking forward to this royal family thing. I think I'm watching Leeds and West Ham tonight, so I'll have to watch that on ITV Hub. One more. Mowbray in big trouble at the end of the season. Feels like a change of direction needed for Blackburn to push on. You, Jack, I'm not the first person to say that. Bristol City, we've got 2 to go, guys. 2 to go. Bristol City won. No, they didn't. They lost 2-0 at home to QPR in a very odd game where, you can see the subs there. Bristol City had made 3 subs by the 37th minute. I think one of them was tactical and 2 of them for injury problems. And Nigel Pearson takes a second home defeat in 2 home games. Remember, they lost to Swansea in midweek. Lucy Rangers here. Bentley in goal. Hunt, Mariappa, Callas, Sessignon, Viner, Wells and Palmer wide. Nige, Backinson, central. Jeju up top. For Rangers, Dieng, Dickey, DeVries, Barbet, Wallace Kane, Johansson Field, Willock, Chair, Austin, and here are the goals. Ilias Chair, apparently all 5'2" of him, if Anir is to be believed, heading in a goal there. Hey, I spoke to Marcus Stewart once. There's a great Bristol footballing name. He said, Ben, it's not about height, it's about timing and technique. And Chair, well, I'm not sure about the technique. He's kind of down there heading in. He certainly had the timing right there, didn't he? And there is Rob Dickey. It's quite a well-worked corner, actually. They do get a bit of luck because it deflects out to Dickey, but I think they took it short and then it went back to the taker and then into Barbet, who came out and hit the shot in. So it looked like a rehearsed one. And Dickey rams home from close range. Sorry, I've just realised how that sounds. I will not say such things again. Tight game. Look, big chances, 1 apiece. But remember, as I always say, to be honest, but stats don't represent game state sometimes. And when a team goes 2-0 up, they obviously surrender position and possession on the pitch, don't they? There's the table. Bristol City, after the 2 good wins, Nigel Pearson was sort of in charge for the first one and definitely in charge for the second one. 2 straight defeats. Look, just need to give Pearson some time to sort stuff out there, and I'm sure he'll have them trending upwards sooner rather than later. And look, over quite a long sample size, if they can get a couple of decent results in the next couple of games, QPR have good form for quite a long time now. Obviously, you're factoring in back-to-back defeats there. But remember, before that, it was like 6 wins in 8, wasn't it? So, in the main, decent. And there's plenty worse places Rangers could be than 16th with 43 points. Let's look at your comments on this one. What are we saying in the chat? Dave Gilmore's 75th birthday. The other day. What's my favourite Pink Floyd track? The Lunatic is playing in the grass. That one. Da-be-da-ba-da-dee-da. And I'll meet you on the dark side of the moon. Saw a meme that said Oprah looked like interested. Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, right. Our bogey ground is our new stadium. Need the season to finish. It's a bad bogey ground to have, if you believe in such things. 12 players out of contract. Am I watching Barnsley versus Derby on Wednesday? I'm sure I'll end up watching that game. Simon says, I was going to say there, QPR were 18th points behind Bristol City in Jan. A win on Tuesday, which has leapfrogged them. Boom, a top 10 finish would be a result. Solid recruitment is the key. Get your Hansen and Austin signed up for next season, for goodness sake, as well. Poor game for us, says Anir. Just seems a sense of stabilise and agreed. Possibly finish in the top half. Injuries out of control. Chair goal now. And he's 5'2". Why don't you believe me? I don't believe anything I read on the internet, Anir. It's not saying I don't believe you. I just said if what you say is true. That's very different than saying I don't believe you, Anir. we all need to read out sources, don't we? And give caveats where each one is given. The team we played yesterday looked our best and most balanced. Hopefully keep Austin, Field, Johansson and De Vries. Nice. Pearson's bounce at Bristol City seems to be over. Plenty of time to assess his squad the rest of the season. Fundamentally, Bristol City are a better team as Pearson is learning. Let's hope Cardiff don't go up. Oh, well, good luck to them. We have some decent fixtures coming up where we can move up the league. I'm very cold in here. Didn't think I'd have to put the heating on today. What you going to do? Last one. Coventry 1, Derby 0. Good win this for Cov. They needed that as well. I've realised if you say for Cov too quickly, it sounds a certain way. So I will avoid doing so. Wilson in goal for Coventry. Østegard, McFadzean and Hyam. Another one of our heroic players who've played within the 5 most minutes of any players. 5 players, not 5 minutes, obviously. Darbo and McCallum, wing-backs. James Kelly-Harmer, O'Hare. Biamu, the goal scorer. For Derby, Roos, Byrne Buchanan, Wisdom Clark. Robertson, Knight, wide, really? Byrne, Shinnie, Kazim Richards and Waghorn up top. Here's the goal. I like this goal, actually. Biamu kind of gets it and bursts through the 2 centre-backs. And to be fair to Matt Clark, some will say, oh, he held his hands up and let him go, and Biamu finishes. But going back to what we were saying about Borna and who did he foul? Pushkas in the Wednesday Reading game. Clark, it's early in the game and he doesn't get himself sent off by doing a silly challenge. So I have some sympathy for him. Nice finish by Biamu. Only goal of the game. Derby have that game in hand, but God forbid they're playing Barnsley, which is like the impossible game, Barnsley or Norwich at the moment, isn't it, with the 7 straight wins. And, I mean, look at it. Coventry up to 38 points now, 45 to survive over the last 10 years on average. And Coventry have now moved again, 3 points ahead of points parity. And I've said about Coventry, about winning sort of every 3rd game. Not far off, are they? I guess you need 12 wins through the season to win. 3 times, no, 36, no, more than that, wouldn't it? Oh, Christ, we were like, okay, winning every 4th game, let's just say Coventry. But that seems to be enough to just keep the wolf from the door, doesn't it? Whenever they slide down, they get a win, don't they, Coventry? And they are currently 6 points ahead of the relegation zone. Now, I know some of you will say, yes, Ben, but Rotherham have 3 games in hand. Okay, but the assumption that Rotherham are going to score 7 points in their 3 games in hand would be foolhardy on the basis that over a 32-game sample size, they only score 1 point per game, and we're expecting all of a sudden, you know, over 2, basically. That may well not happen. But Coventry are not safe, and you would think, well, 2 more wins in the last 11 takes Coventry to 44. 3 more wins to 48. Surely that will be enough. Surely we don't get a season again where 48 points sees somebody get relegated. And yeah, Derby, you can say exactly the same things because they've got 38 points. They probably need another 3 wins, although you would think they, with the squad in comparison and their status as a tenured championship club, they would have a better expectation of doing that than, say, Coventry would. Big Gus Hamer fan. Would love him at West Brom. Yeah, good player. Bembo. Just had my first COVID test today. I hated it, but would rather have it than Roy Hodgson managing that game at Palace. Oh, dear. Another awful performance from Derby. That's 2 in a row, says Ridley. Makes Rooney's decision to rest players midweek look awful. Well, I can't disagree with that, Ridley. I think you bang on. Bielik, Derby's best player by some distance, in my view. Him being so injury-prone has really hurt them this season. Yeah, it has. I think it's harsh to call him injury-prone, Jack. He's obviously impact stuff and 2 cruciate ligaments. You know, it's just bad luck, isn't it, poor guy? But Yeah. Great news for Cov going back to the Rico. Totally agree with that. If Cov do stay up, there'll be ones to kick on next season. Yeah. A lot of stability there, isn't there? The result serves the inexperienced Rooney right. Under pressure now with the extra fixture at Barnsley and then home the Maloneless Mill. Malone, the goal guy. Callum, a massive deserved 3 points. Wasn't impressed with Derby at all. Big game beats Rotherham. Oh, is it? Wow. Coventry and Rotherham next week. Oh, yeah, that could be a winner takes all one. Hoping for Rico confirmation. We all hope Coventry get back to the Rico. Derby need to be careful. Should be okay though. Do I think Brighton will go down? I think Newcastle are more likely to, but hey, Callum O'Hare is a great player. Agreed. Wish Rooney became manager before scoring that amazing free kick. What a goal that was. I was there. I witnessed Wayne Rooney's last goal in the flesh. The problem is that Barnsley are expected to win. Might put a bit of pressure on there. Learning curve for Rooney. He won't get everything right, but he's done a good job. Think about where they were bits as well. Performances just haven't been the same last few games. Seems like a Koku team again. Need to get it back to just getting it up to Kazim. Effective and got results. Right. Goal of the week, everybody. Let me bring up the screen and I'll give you some suggestions. We'll do goal of the week first and then we'll do team of the week. So I only need the player's name. Please don't automatically vote for a player who plays for the team you support. Come on. Let's get some credibility into this. People tell me I rant about this, but I want people judging the goals, not just being like proud mothers and fathers thinking that their little kids should get the best part in the school play. Right, best goals of the week. DK for Barnsley. What a goal. Coventry, Biamu, maybe. Norwich, I don't know. Campwell's not that great, was it? Johnson, not that many good ones here. Iain, maybe for Reading. That's about it, isn't it? I think DK seems to be the standard one. I'll give you another minute or so to answer your goal of the week. I'll go through some options again. DK for Barnsley. Biamu maybe for Coventry. Campwell maybe for Norwich. Iain for Reading. What about Norrington Davis for Stoke, possibly driving through? Not many incredible goals this week. Let's see what you guys are saying. Mark Pollovy, Swansea, that's tremendous. DK. Yeah, it looks like a bit of a home run for DK. Let's go with Daryl DK for goal of the week. Right, team of the week. Surely it's got to be Barnsley, hasn't it? Anyway, Watford for keeping up the home run. Get your thoughts in. Team of the week could be Watford. Barnsley, a League One team 2 seasons ago with no parachute payments, winning 7 on the trot in 6th place. I hear you say. You could nominate Barnsley. QPR, back to winning ways, winning at Bristol City. Coventry, they got a win as well. Blackburn, first win in a while. You could nominate them. Norwich, they've also got 7 straight wins. They may be in the conversation. Reading beat Wednesday 3-0. Stoke beat Wickham, who are bottom. Swansea, please don't vote for Swansea after all the conversation we had. Look, it's Norwich or Barnsley, isn't it? Get your votes in. Who's your team of the week? I'll give you another 10, 15 seconds. Come up with your team of the week. I'll tell you what, I'll do the plugs first before we do the team of the week. Thank you again to Russell, a fan and now a friend despite Ben's terrible taste in football teams. Thank you to our super chatters. Keep your nominations coming in for team of the week. Thank you for super chatters, Bits and Anthony right at the start of the show. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody out. Hit the subscribe, ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. Right, let's do team of the week. What are you guys saying? Swansea, if not Barnsley. Barnsley, Swansea. I knew I was going to get some Swanseas in there. Barnsley, QPR. Barnsley, Millwall. Barnsley. We're doing heroes and villains later, Matthew. Don't worry about that. I'm sure Mr. Ward will get a mention. Barnsley, Blackburn, Gillingham. Go on, Bits. Be off with you. Barnsley. It's got to be Barnsley, haven't we? Draw between Norwich and Barnsley. Blackburn. Yes, look, Norwich fans, we understand that you're having a lovely old time with 76, but it's got to be Barnsley, hasn't it? Surely. Shirley, don't call me Shirley. Right, heroes and villains later on. If you want, actually, stick some heroes and villains in here now, but it would help me if you put them in the YouTube post I've already done, or I've done a tweet for heroes and villains. Get involved with that. If you want to shout out, I'll give you a shout out right now. James, legend, supports on Patreon as well. Love the stream, always up for a longer stream. Let me know if you want a shout out before we go. I'm all out of water. My throat is hurting. So heroes and villains, and we'll do, I think we're doing West Ham Leeds at 8 o'clock, if I can run that past HQ. Hopefully she's not watching. Shout out to Anir, who's always on the channel. Anir, plug your YouTube channel. Anir is a very knowledgeable football fan. I knew nowhere near as much as he does at his age. And that's not meaning to be patronising, of course. Credit where it's due. So go and check out his channel. Great lad. Anthony, thank you again for the super chat. Tremendous. Love it. Matthew, thank you, sir. Gaza off for coffee. Barnsley Derby. Yeah, we should do Barnsley Derby. Oh, don't talk to me about Ipswich playing Lincoln. That doesn't sound easy, does it? Thank you, Liam and Mr. E. Right. That'll do. Sorry if your shout out call comes in right now. Great chat. As always, you lot are brilliant. An hour and 20 minutes now, nearly doing the reviewing the games, and just brilliant comments right the way through. Great insight. I try and cover 30 teams. No chance of doing it without all of this insight every week. So we used to say at primary school, give yourself a clap, give yourself a round of applause. Brilliant stuff from you guys in the comments. And all that remains for me to say, I'll give Jim a shout out because he's a great supporter as well. All that remains for me to say is over. And out for coffee, words that I will never say, or Max Aaron's over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.